and Ria, let's have an interesting time talking about what the papers are saying. The first with me is the Nation newspaper with the banner headline, Return of Naira-For-Crude deal raises stable petrol price hope. Policy now permanent of energy security, end to reliance on forex in domestic market. Yes, that's, as we said, will definitely reduce the pressure on having to exchange of the exchange rate, because certainly we'll have enough to go around within Nigeria, and then increasing competition and forcing the prices down, hopefully.
Hopefully.
I don't see anything in it.
Right, the NADI NLC Apapa battle for grip of Labour Party with Abure. Edo seeks inter-Africa trade to survive tariff regimes. And then on the bottom strip, Trump holds 90-day break on tariffs for Nigeria. Others raises China's to 104%. And then other papers are reporting 125%. So what we're beginning to see is trade war. Trump is saying, okay, other countries just chill. I want to face China.
And you know that Trump, I'm sorry to say, he's a dictator. And you know, when somebody is going against a dictator, it's always a problem. But the thing with China, they are coconut heads. That's what he doesn't understand. They will fight.
China doesn't make noise. They just do their thing sucking.
Do you understand? And I saw that they stated that they would not take any form of manipulation as well, and they will go head to head. I feel like Trump is going to destroy America, honestly speaking.
Yeah, China is saying that we're going to do tit for tat, and then we're looking for 80% against America. And Trump said, I'm going to do this because China doesn't respect us. So it's a battle of ego. I think so.
Well, you can call it that, but Trump is not calling it that. He wants US to be respected. But one thing about China is that they are self-sufficient. Whatever you try to do, they can insulate themselves. They have a way of insulating themselves from the impact, such that the citizens are not affected at the end of the day. The average citizen does not even feel that, oh, this is what is going on, because they produce, they do everything, even for the US.
Absolutely.
Yes. So it's interesting times that we are seeing right now. Trade war, but the impact on other developing countries. Yes, he has given a 90-day period or respite for other countries, but then what are these other countries doing to ensure, for instance, Africa, how can we trade amongst ourselves? How can we insulate ourselves from all of this trade war, knowing that we are dependent on these developed countries?
Like the grass.
These are the things that we should be looking at, because we have the natural resources that these countries come to tap from. So how can we then position ourselves in such a way that we negotiate from a position of strength, so that these persons can respect us as well?
And if you look at, just like what Veronica said, if you look at Chad, Niger, Burkina Faso, the AES country, they're saying, France, get out of our country, we want to take care of our lithium and all of our natural resources to our own advantage. But the problem is, they do not have the technical know-how to run this.
Well, technical know-how can be acquired. If you have the will, you will always create a way. What she said is exactly what Africa should do. At times I wonder, we have people in Africa that think very well. Our leaders know these things. So what's stopping them from coming together and forming a strong economic bloc? We have everything we need, natural resources everywhere. We have manpower, intelligent people, and so on. So what's holding us down? And talking about what other African countries are doing, we are saying, okay, we're not going to buy some of these things from America anymore. Nigeria has 25 on its list of things we won't buy from America anymore. And the American, is it a consul general or ambassador, came out complaining and say, hey, this is going to affect the economy and so on. So every country has its strength. But do you have the will, to exercise it?
Yeah,
that's the big question,
especially
for African countries.
China produces, the baby toys that they use in US, produces
cars,
cars, even the iPhones, all of them. So I do not know. Americans would definitely reel from this, impact. And some of them are already saying Trump should just stop this nonsense.
And the fact for me is very surprising, because why would you now say everyone should wait and you want to focus on China? That means it's a personal fight. And when it comes to things of the country, it shouldn't be personal.
Between America and China.
But also to add to the fact that African countries need to come together, this will help us when it comes to global shocks like this. So if we come together and we're doing our own trade, I think is one of the best things.
If you look at the pattern of global power, power is actually moving to the east, and that's the reality. It may be that America might definitely bite the dust under Trump if he's not very careful. Let's move on to Platform Times. I left office with same assets I came with. That's according to Muhammadu Buhari, former president of Nigeria. You know, I could recall in 2015, he said he had 2 mud houses in Daura, he had 5 homes, he had cows and all of that. And then in 2019, he said, well, the cows had actually decreased because due to gifting some of them out and all of that. So that's accountability, you know, because yes, he submitted his what's it called? He declared his asset to the Bureau of Conduct, or what do they call them? That's agency that actually looks into it. So we should call all our elected officers or officials to do the same.
Yeah, he's doing that already now. He's helping us to tell them, you know, ensure that you do not enrich yourselves and, you know, do the needful. Make sure that it is service, you know, for the people. Right now, he's possibly in that same mud house that you mentioned. He possibly still has the same number of cows that you mentioned. Perhaps he did not even carry anything out of the monies he was paid. He returned it, perhaps.
I smell sarcasm in this.
No, now, he said...
Yeah, perhaps you never can tell.
So we can't tell.
Yeah,
he left office the same way he
Muhammadu
came.
Buhari is an austere man. He's not flamboyant, he's not extravagant, you know.
I really don't think he's in a mud house somewhere. But anyway, when I saw the headline, I'm like, was he supposed to go with something before? This is the right thing to do. You came to, the way you came to office is the West. What assets did you want to take before?
I see when people...
you've never seen people living Aso Rock and everywhere is...
But that's wrong.
Chairs.
That is wrong.
TVs.
No, because it happens doesn't mean it's right.
Right.
It's wrong. And I would have told Buhari, don't say this at all.
Yeah.
Don't say.
No, but why?
He
has a right to say
No, he
it.
has a right to say it.
Yeah.
But you see, he has stirred up conversation.
Yeah.
A lot of conversations.
Which is good.
Because, yes, it's good because there are some people that will go, that would say, look, I know you have this, I know you have that. You didn't have that before you became president.
Are they sure?
I thought you're supposed to put...
He left.
But let me tell you, before he says something like this, he should know better. You cannot live in a glass house and throw stones. So if he will say something like this,
he's no longer in a glass house. He's still in a mud house. Remember what
if you throw a stone, the mud house will fall down.
No, the mud house will return it. It's very thick. Right. Train breaks down in Kogi Forest. Passengers trek for hours. This is dangerous. We know that this had happened, you know, several times. The Nigeria Railway Corporation, you know, they really need to get their acts together. Yes, we are recording positivity from that you know, sector, but having this problem in the middle of nowhere, where we know the bandits, kidnappers can strike at any time.
Yes, if you drive a car, you know you can break down any time.
But that boils down to maintenance.
It's the same thing with a train. The Nigerian Railway Corporation, I should say, are going through a rebranding process.
Yeah.
And this is the first major breakdown we're hearing about. But they would have planned for eventualities like this.
That's right. Let's move on to outrage as deceased tongue testicles go missing in Abia mortuary. Come on, allow the dead to rest.
Even the dead are not resting again. The dead are not resting in peace again.
People are desperate for money and they can do anything for it.
But Tom, I used to argue, do people really do these things for, like, does it work?
How would I know? I have not tried it.
Do you want to try to know if it works?
I was even wondering what she's asking about.
But do you believe that this thing
in my mind, I thought you'd say yes.
Try it and see now.
Try and see.
I'm a child of God.
Try and they say we convince you.
Nigerian Tribune is next. Nigerian Tribune. Ibas under fire over appointment of local government administrators in Rivers. PDP accuses National Assembly of abdicating oversight role on administrator. Ibas in order, Tinubu gave him blanket check, Okore. So there is this forth and back legalese, you know, over whether he had the right or is within his jurisdiction as a sole administrator, which is, you know, contested anyway. Yeah, to appoint local government administrators as well, you know, people to run the affairs of local government. So
if I were Ibas, I would have just left the arrangement that the former governor, or still the suspended governor, left.
But you know, local government chairmen were suspended before the suspension.
Look, they have the head of civil servants in, they're called
permanent
director of something.
I've
forgotten the designation. He would have just left it there. You know, you are an administrator for 6 months. Don't muddy the water. Just do your job. Leave controversy.
That's right. Veronica?
Even if he was given the powers to do
that,
anything he feels will ensure that there is stability and peace in the state, I agree with you that wisdom should also have come to play.
That's right.
And so that he can get the trust of the people, and he can work hand in glove with them to get the desired results and the mandate that the president has given to him. Because right now, there's so much happening. He's been taken to court and by one of the citizens of the state, and that is where he's been stopped from, you know, ensuring that, you know, he bring in local government administrators and all of it. I think that Ibokete Ibas, with his experience, should begin to look at bringing in wisdom and ensure that this matter of ensuring stability in Rivers State is critical.
That's right.
We know how that state is to the people. They have their peculiarities. Let's not forget that. So he must bring that to play in whatever he's doing.
Most definitely. Nigeria News Direct is next. Nigeria posts $6.83 billion balance of payments surplus on reforms, CBN. As external reserves surge to $40.19 billion. We really, you know, making
good one. And you know,
gains,
we spoke about it on this table too as well, speaking about the fact that it will also help for economic stability and also for investors to now begin to get confidence to invest in Nigeria. We had those conversations here as well.
And talking about investors, if you look at above the masthead, fear, hesitation, hindering progress of power sector despite Tinubu's good intentions. So that's according to Elumelu. He's saying that there's a lot of fears in the power sector. President is saying we must make bold steps in revamping, re-energizing the power sector so that we have a viral economy at the end of the day. But people are hesitating. If you look at, it's a Transcorp, I've forgotten the name, you know, it's been owed about $40,000 or $400,000 or thereabouts. So it's still a challenge.
Yes, it is. And if you want to invest in any sector, you want to know the history of that sector. Infrastructure in the power sector.
That's a problem.
Were put together in the 70s and nothing has been done. So you want to invest there. What if those things fail? You're a businessman. You're thinking of your money.
Yeah, Veronica, let's go to the Guardian newspaper. Towards resilient economy amid tariffs, CBN craves fiscal authorities support. Bets on stronger reserves surplus. But I wanted to react to the story where we have Aburi now join the fray. You know, the man hibernated from some time ago. And then we have Usman, our papa, tighten grip on Labour Party leadership, worsen party's woes. You know, I made biblical, you know, reference yesterday. I think that's 1 King chapter 3. Where now those were two harlots, but this time around we have about 3-4 people now fighting over a baby. Who carries the day?
It's an unfortunate situation that this party has found itself. I keep hearing people talk about, oh, they are infiltrators, they are moles that are ensuring that the party is not stabilized, and blah and blah and blah. For me, it shows that you do not have the interest of the nation at heart if you can sell yourself cheap to anybody to be used as a mole. Then where lies your patriotism? Where lies you saying that, oh, I want to serve this nation, I'm fighting in the interest of the people, and so I'm doing this. You never had the interest of the people at heart, because if we have the interest of democracy, we would not allow this party to, you know, be disintegrated, or any other party as it is, to disintegrate as it is right now. I mean, what are we learning from our founding fathers? How they worked hand in glove, despite their differences in tribe, in religion, in party, whatever it is, they had Nigeria at heart. It's unfortunate that Labour Party is finding itself in this situation. I hope they can resolve it before 2027.
And unfortunately, Ria, if you look at the front page of the Daily Independent, which is the next paper, we have Obi. I mean, again, Obi insists Nigeria collapsing under Tinubu, and the riders read, Osman calls on Abure, sacks Labour Party NWC to join a rebuilding party who were ready to make ousted chairman BOT head. That's according to Alex Oti. So I don't know whether you're disappointed if you look at all the noise, the hullabaloo, the 10 million march, man march, and all of that, you know, in 2023, and they are supposed to be the messiah. And what if they are not even in power? Are you disappointed?
I am totally disappointed, to be honest. And what I'll say is that for Peter Obi, he keeps talking about the state of Nigeria, state of Nigeria. Your party is in it. You're like, they're in a mess.
Yeah.
And then you are not focused on that. And I was reading on social media this morning, somebody was saying that allegedly he should leave and go and form another party. I'm like, is it all about party about Nigeria? Like you keep on criticizing. When you look at the headlines of, Peter B, most of the time, he's criticizing, oh, the economy is crashing. Oh, what are you trying to arrange in your own party?
That is his role. Sorry, let me just butt in there. That's his role. He's opposition. He will not naturally see a lot of good in the present administration. He will criticize. And talking about the 10 million man.
So the question now is, how constructive are these criticisms?
Exactly.
Because the question is, Nigerians will be saying, why is it that he's always talking down or talking bad about Nigeria? Even when you criticize, what alternative solution are you proffering?
Good.
Because you criticize, but okay, so what do we do? People now ask questions, what do we do? We don't hear anything.
Let's go back to history.
He wants to hide his plans.
Let's go back to history. Politicians will always show you the wrong you are doing, but they will not give you a solution.
So what is the interest of the country? What is that interest?
Hold on. That has always been the case. Even when this ruling party now was in opposition, it was the same thing. You understand? Now there are so many other elements that have come to play that makes opposition look dirty, right now. And we have to remember that the movement during the election that were supporting Peter Obi were not members of the Labour Party. Like 80 to 85% of them were not members of the Labour Party. And that's where a lot of people make the mistake, believing that it was Labour Party that was pushing all those. It wasn't.
Yeah, and Veronica, if you look at NLC, he's also under the leadership of Ajero. He's not the first NLC president. We've had Oshiomhole,
Pascal,
you understand, mention them. But this is a pressure group now gunning for the ownership of NLC, which is a political...
I'm happy you mentioned this aspect coming into the mix. Recall that he went to Anambra, and he was beating blue-black at the time because he said they were having an election, and he went there a few days to the election saying he wants to picket, and then he was beating up or assaulted, let me use that word, assaulted.
And he had to go treat his
and then he went to treat himself. And people started raising eyebrows about his involvement and NLC's involvement in political issues. But he says it has nothing to do with politics and that he was just playing his role at the time. It is a dangerous move that NLC, or precedents that NLC is trying to set with what is going on now. If you are saying what we are after is the interest of workers, why don't you just focus on that and leave the party to do what it needs to do? You said the party is not yours, so why are you now gunning for the soul of the party? Why are you not just where you need to be and do the needful? Because when you are now dipping your hands into political issues, then you are smearing your hands, you are making it look like, you cannot be trusted as it is. So I think that this whole matter of NLC saying whatever it is, they're going to have a march, picket setting the offices of Labour Party. On what grounds? Why are you trying to do that? Labour Party, unfortunately, like you said, those that were supporting Peter Obi did not and are not card-carrying members of that party. And they should learn lessons from that, because things that are happening now, a majority of them would have been able to change the tide of things, but because they are not card-carrying members, they can only stand outside and be shouting about what is going on inside.
In the party, yes, because if you look at Labour Party crisis, according to Daily Independent, which the paper we're still reviewing, Labour Party crisis, NLC asked INEC to remove insignia of Abure, NWC, from Petrol. Abure-led faction vows to mobilize against union. And one of the questions has always been, what if we have a party that's saying that we want to help Nigeria, want to salvage the situation? You're not even able to entrench internal democracy to manage the affairs of your party. How much more a macrocosm a very, let me speak English, Gargantuan, you know,
What have we been speaking?
you know, a nation like Nigeria that is so difficult to manage with diverse ethnic groups, tribal, and all of those sentiments that will always play up whenever actions are taken. You're not able to handle your own party. How much more Nigeria?
And the thing is that a lot of people had faith in the Labour Party. So with this happening, people are now like, what is going on? And like you just said, if you cannot manage if you have a home, you cannot manage your small home, how do you now want to manage other people?
I think that,
let us look at, sorry.
I think that the faith was in the candidate and not the party itself, because a majority of people were following that candidate, the presidential
candidate. There has to be a separation between obedience movement,
that is where the matter of being a card-carrying member comes in. So a lot of people are too sentimental to be able to differentiate what it is. So they just feel, you know what, this is a movement. You see, Nigeria has its peculiarities when it comes to politics.
That's right.
If you want to cause a change, it's not about just flocking someone, but you have to start from somewhere, especially with having a card belonging to a group or a party as it is.
And then you can have a say.
Yes.
Yes. Talking about internal crisis in the Labour Party, I don't think there's any political party in Nigeria that has shot itself to prominence that has not gone through that. You know, every political party, all of them, they have gone through it. But somehow, when it's time for politicking, when the elections are around the corner, they come together. They form a common front. So what is happening in Labour Party is not history. It is something we've seen over and over with PDP, we've seen it with APC, we are seeing it with Labour Party and all that. I tell you, when we get to the real electioneering campaigns, we're not going to have plenty of this. You know, somehow they'll find a way.
I think I disagree. Because in 2023, there was nothing. It's the same thing.
You know.
It was the same thing that happened. They were not able to put their acts together.
You mean the Labour Party, right?
Yes, I'm talking about the opposition. They were finding it difficult to put their acts together and form a formidable opposition.
Did they
have they learned their lesson? Is now my question.
Did they present a candidate for the election? Yes.
Yes.
Did they pursue the election to the end? Yes.
But
let's try and look at it from that point. You know, internal crisis will always be there. Internal crisis will always be there. Even in
APC has its own.
APC has its own.
They're able to
right
manage
now.
According to
yes, they are managing it. They are managing it better than the rest. You know.
Or is it because they are in power?
I don't know. Or maybe they have a better.
Who are saying they are moving to the SDP as it is. We know that.
Or better still, they have someone
in
person of President Bola Tinubu who is able to, you know, marshal people together and
that could be one of that. In fact, that is one of the major reasons why this is going on. The respect for Mr. President within the party. You know, you see, so APC is lucky they have Mr. President that they all respect. Who does Labour Party have?
Petrol.
They have Petrol. They have Petrol. Even though some people are now leaving the Labour Party, it is, you know, Nollywood and a lawyer.
I'm talking about somebody I'm talking about somebody that enjoys the respect and somebody that has the clout, that following.
He does.
Like Mr. The people that follow Petrol be that way are not members of Labour Party. They are not card-carrying members of
but
Labour
not all
Party.
people who...
So we are going to see, bottom line is that we're going to hear more very funny stories coming out of Labour Party as time goes on.
And we also, if you look at the SDP, Malam Nasser El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State, who is also saying that he's moving to the SDP, but the ward is saying that he's not a member of the party because they've not seen him register. And then Saraki, former president of the Senate, is also saying, where did you guys get the news that I'm going to join the SDP? So it just looks like, you know, people are playing different cards. And we also talked about the PDP. I want to use the certain word, but we know former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, you know, a contender, you know, what's that word? Consistent, you know, perpetual, you know, always coming to that, you know, to mark that register. But he's still, according to what you said yesterday, that he said he has not decided yet what 2027 is going to look like, whether he's going to run or not. So where is that viable, that virile opposition.
I mean, we have over 50 opposition parties, because when you go for election, you see that people that have registered. Yes, yes.
We'll call them
and that's my
parties.
question. Where are you guys? What's your role? Because you start seeing them talk. Majority of them will come out to say they want to speak and all of that. But now that you have the time to do what is the needful, to position yourself as a formidable opposition, we do not find you. So it's looking like, oh, everything is all about my selfish interest, because you just hear that, oh, they formed a coalition and they were now embedded into another political party, giving positions to them.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
We need to do more.
Yeah, I understand that we need to do more, and then we have to, go to Daily Trust, which is, I think, the final paper. Traffickers using digital platforms to lure Nigerians. This is according to federal government. Over 7,000 victims rescued in 2 years. That's according to NAPTIP. Wow. It's threats to national security, UNODC, and Switzerland. Would you say that is the gullibility of some people, or the voracious appetite of seeking money or seeking opportunities, whether within or abroad, that is pushing people to getting themselves into trafficking?
For me, I'll say the gullibility of some people, because there are some things that are glaring at you and you can see that it's not true. You can see that this thing will put me in trouble, or this thing is not the right thing, but your mind is telling you that it can, maybe it is.
Once
maybe
your mind is telling you, your eye will see it. So
let me tell you, even for me, I have seen some offers that will come up that you just know that this thing is not possible. Like, you should be smart. Like, some people get into situations that I'm wondering, like, how did you get into this kind of situation? Like, are you not thinking?
That's the issue.
You don't hit the nail on the head.
But what kind of desperation will put you inside a mess?
Ria, let's agree on this table that there are some that are privileged and there are those who aren't, and they feel that the best way out of this is to go that route. I had a gate man, and let me just tell this story. I had a gate man then that he had gone on this trip. He saw people die. He saw bodies on the floor and all of it, but still insisted he wants to get there. That he believes that when he leaves Nigeria, it will be better for him. This is someone that said he had shops and all of that, sold everything, and then he went on that trip and lost everything. See, when people are desperate, calm down now. When people are desperate, see, the way they think,
you can't be desperate and foolish at the same time.
No, you call it foolishness. They don't see it as that. They see it as giving it a trial. It might work at the end of the day. If it worked for Ibrahim, it could work for me.
But you are saying that Ibrahim failed at it and you are trying to go at it. Why would you think that you
did not do it well?
Listen. You see 20 people fail, but you see one person that succeeds. And that person becomes such a,
and in your mind, you'll be like,
booster.
why can't I succeed?
Look, if he can succeed, I can succeed.
Yeah.
I need people to understand that the blessing is not in the location. The blessing is in the person.
That's right.
Do your work. Leave being desperate, and you'll live a better life. Thank you very much.
After all, we see bankers, we see managers who are selling off their property, their estate, and become sweepers, in the UK and some other countries. Would we say it's because of lack of education or
no?
Well, that's about it for the newspapers we've decided to review this morning. We believe